I've got this song I've been sitting on, just an idea, and it's just been it's been on the back burner for a couple weeks now, just because I can't figure out what to do with it. Let me just pull it up. This is so I don't know. A piano and synth pad play nearly identical notes in rhythm. These chords were originally a guitar part I came up with, but I wanted to try and make it into a piano part. I thought it would fit better on one. That by itself, though, felt a little empty, so I added a synth with different high notes playing in the opposite ear. Creating this. And with it came the foundation for the song. This part gives off a very specific mood or feeling or whatever you want to call it, and I originally wanted to explore that feeling throughout this piece. Keep that in mind as I show you the rest of the project. So leaving the first part, we switched to sustained synth chords. We also had this orange thing, the 2010s dubstep lead. Now, excuse me, but what the heck? The second part was created separate from the first pattern. I thought it sounded really nice and I wanted to use it, so I slapped it onto the original pattern. Nice. I had to figure out a transition later. After the slow part, using one big out of nowhere chord, we transitioned back into the original loop. Ending in a third part, which kind of acted as the result of fusing the first and second part together. And that's it. No ending. Some harsh transitions to say the least, or lack of transitions really. I love the first two parts, yet felt too much frustration in trying to figure out how to use both in a natural and clean way. And with that, I got frustrated and bored. So I stashed the file away to collect dust for weeks. But with those weeks came more experience, so I decided to approach this differently this time around. The issue I had was I didn't know how to create the same mood from the first part in new parts. I believe that comes from not being able to put that mood into imagery or words. Once you can give your mood a description of sorts, you have more information to work with. It's easier to identify what fits in that mood and what doesn't. So here's a fun way I found to do just that. The original idea will give me a certain feeling or a certain concept in my head. I try and almost see it as how would this song fit in a video game? What kind of video game would it fit into? And I kind of try to imagine that scene, that level, whatever you want to call it, put it as in depth and detail into my head as possible, and then use that as the basis of how I'm going to form the rest of the song so it fits that sort of game design idea. It just makes it a lot easier to move forward, because when I go, I don't know what to do next, I can kind of just think of that idea, that kind of concept in my head, and I can think, okay, well, what would continue to fit in that feeling. This to me feels like it has the soft kind of melodic soothing part, but also has a little bit of tension because the chords are kind of weird. It almost feels like the room right before you go into the boss fight of a game. I almost see it as you have your characters on this bridge in a lava-filled level or hell or something, and they can see the big boss guy that they're gonna go fight, but they're not quite there yet, so they're either on the walk or they're in that transitional screen right before the boss fight. It kind of has that little bit of tension, but still kind of soothing. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. With all that being said, this beat part is amazing and everything, but of course it isn't going to fit. It gives off a completely different mood and idea, but it's just too cool to delete. I can't get rid of it. So I sat there, again, for about 20 minutes making that face, trying to make this whole thing still work. Getting frustrated, again, wanting to give up, because I couldn't get this beat part to fit the mood I was going for. I like to see it as two super strong magnets. Yeah, it's tempting to let go and let them fly towards each other, but it's just gonna break when they collide. But here's the part I tend to forget. There's other stuff that's magnetic, that, won't break the magnet. I'm stretching this analogy way too far. What I mean is, you don't have to delete that other part you love if it isn't working. Just use it in something else. Make it in another song. I had that realization while working on this project, and it made everything so much easier. Without the guilt of having a good part go to waste, it could finally work.
That's the new idea. Shit, I just gave myself another song I have to finish. Okay.
I spent the next 4 days making these 2 songs, adding parts, altering things, while keeping that core idea in my head, so I didn't go too far away from what I was originally thinking. I did the same for the new song I had to make, which in my head acted as the part where you kill the boss and win the game.
This is what is left over from the first song. I know I don't want it to open like that. Oh! Where'd those voices at? Give me the voices. I meant to do this. There we go. Hit the same note, but different chord underneath. Ooh. Maybe we got some, this fucking chord, whatever that is. Yeah, that thing. Ooh. Wait a minute. Hmm. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's the chord. Dude, that's sick. That's so good. Okay, how do I, now I gotta figure out, oh, like some sort of, I swear I'm not like, I don't like snort crack or anything, it's just my nose is itchy. Oh, okay, yeah, so I extend I extend this chord progression to, like, stretch it out pretty much double, give room within those chords to introduce other sounds, other elements, and then
It was actually one of my favorite songs I've ever made. I would have never been able to have that favorite song if I continued to sit there and try and make that first idea work. And instead of having one really shitty, forced together idea, I now had two awesome and cohesive songs. Less frustration and even more awesome music. Truly a win-win. So give it a try for yourself. Go make that music for a fake video game or movie or whatever suits your process best. And don't feel afraid to let uncooperative ideas become their own thing. You'll get a lot more cool stuff out of it. That's all I got. Bye.